Hello, I'm Pastor Joe, and welcome to Impacts. Impacts is a video teaching series where I try to help you nurture your faith in, your commitment to, and your relationship with Jesus Christ. You know, one of the things that all of us are guilty of from one time or another is trying to keep up with the Joneses. Now, when we say that we're trying to keep up with the Joneses, what we mean is that we are comparing ourselves to them, what they have, what they do, and all of that, and feeling like we don't measure up, and so we want just what they have. It's not a very good way to be, particularly as Christians. So I want us to explore how we can live more faithfully to God's will in our lives. So come on, let's get started. You know, in many ways, our whole society seems to be built on the idea of competition. Now, I'm not against competition. I like competition. But sometimes healthy competition crosses that line and becomes unhealthy competition. When we lived in Banner Elk, we were fortunate to have a college ministry at the church. And I remember one young lady who was a part of our ministry for a year, and she got caught up in unhealthy competition, and it greatly affected her health. She was so concerned as to how she measured up, how she looked compared to what society expected, that she fought a battle, often a losing battle, with an eating disorder. And it affected her whole life, from her health to her relationships. That's kind of extreme, but it's not the only case. When we moved to the mountains from the coast, our daughter actually suffered a concussion. Not because of the move, but because she was trying to learn how to snowboard. She spent a day with her friends on the slope, and she kept falling and hitting her head. The odd thing is, she really didn't like snowboarding, but she was trying to do it because that's what her friends did. So she had this unspoken expectation, and she may have put it on herself, but she was trying to keep up with her friends, and she suffered for that. I have a friend who continues to battle alcoholism and other addictions, and a lot of it goes back to his desire to be liked, to be the life of the party. We often compare ourselves to those around us. What do they look like? How well do they sing? What do they have? How do they live? How many friends do they have? Things like that. And we lose sight that each one of us has been created uniquely by God. We all have gifts and special attributes that God has given us uniquely, and that He loves us. And that's something we need to remember. But you know, it's not only about keeping up with the Joneses. It's not only about how do we compare to others. We often get caught up in trying to please God. We want to live better. We want to be a good person. So we commit, we're going to read the Bible every day, or we're going to pray throughout the day, or pray regularly. We want to be in worship. We want those perfect attendance badges. We want to be the super Christian. But you know what? These things aren't bad in and of themselves, but there's nothing we can do to please God. You see, the reality of our lives, part of the human condition, is that we're sinners. Because of the fall, all of us sin. It's part of, again, the fallen world that we live in. And there is nothing that we can do, no matter how good it is, that's going to please God. Even at our best, we fall short of God's glory. We fall short of His holiness. So we cannot earn God's love and God's forgiveness. It's just impossible. Now, while we can't please God, there is good news. And that good news is we don't have to please God. God nowhere asks us to please Him and earn His forgiveness or His love. In fact, let us hear the words from Titus chapter 3, verse 5. He saved us not because of works done by us in righteousness, but according to His own mercy. You see, we are forgiven, we are loved by God because of grace. Grace is that unmerited, undeserved love and forgiveness that we receive in Jesus Christ. Well, look, here's my challenge to you. I want you to stop trying to please God. Stop trying to do things in order to impress God and just give your life to Him. Put your trust and your hope in Him, in His grace. Remember, grace is unearned, unmerited, undeserved love and forgiveness. Now, when we do that, we're going to make better decisions. We're going to want to spend time in His Word. We're going to want to be in prayer and in worship and these things, but not as a way of pleasing or impressing God, but as a way of spending time with God and nurturing that relationship with Him, which is what it's all about. Well, look, I hope that you will join me next week for the next installment of Impact's video. I hope also that you will share this video with others, encourage them in their faith and their walk. And until then, I pray that God will be with you.